Good evening, everybody, and happy Sunday. It is March 13th, 2022. And tonight we're going to be walking around downtown Miami for about an hour. It is going to be a very busy week. This week on Wall Street, Wednesday, we are hearing from the FOMC, or the Federal Reserve, the Federal Open Market Committee. We are going to find out if they are going to raise interest rates or not. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has signaled to the market earlier in March, when he was testifying before Congress, that they would start taking inflation more seriously and raising those rates. So we'll talk about that. Also, we are having a ton of economic data coming out of the housing market. We will hear from the National Realtors Association. But if we take a quick look at futures, the S&P 500 E-mini futures are up about 25 points right now. If we look at the NQs, which is the ticker symbol for the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ 100 E-minis, they're up about 73 points as well. Let's see who we have here in the chat, and then we will get started. I see Bianca M. Hey, Bianca, good to see you. We have Joey, we have Otto. Good to see you, Otto. Vinny Castellano says, hey, my friend, how are you? Good to see you, Vinny, my pal from Staten Island. Jamie Price, good to see you. C. Charn is here. Michelle McGraw, War Walker. Good to see you, my friend. Chris Mills, welcome. Mary Cruz, Paranormal Witness Girl, says hello. Super sick with the flu. Please get well soon, please. Let me just put my computer away, and then we will get started, everybody. So we are now right outside of the FTX Arena, where the Miami Heat had a game last night. The wind died down a little bit, so that is good. I see Sally, I see Chris Beeman is here. Good to see you, G-Hope. Hey, Action Kid is here. What's up, AK? Says, how are you? Great views of downtown Miami. Yes, AK, I was watching your stream today. It seemed crazy. You're at some type of event. That is awesome. But AK, I was actually walking around a little bit Wynwood. I've never been there before. So Shot by Scott, which is one of our moderators, recommended that I check out Wynwood. I was only there for about an hour, but that place was crazy. Unbelievable place. Hopefully I get to spend a little bit more time there. But good to see you, AK. I see Santos says, hello, how are you? Good evening, Santo. The one and only British Gray is here. Says, good Sunday evening, Tom and everybody. British Gray is joining us from Tampa, Florida. Our pal Alan Wilson is here. Says, good evening, everybody. Hey, Alan. Humane says, beautiful view, Tom. Happy daylight savings time. Hey, you're right. So Humane is right. We did have to spring ahead. I did set the clocks ahead, so it's going to be, the good news is it's going to be a little bit more daylight out, which is always good. Layda is here. Good to see you, Layda. My pal Optimus Prime. Edson says, glad to see you, Tom. Welcome, 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 everybody. Sally is here. This is the skyline of downtown Miami. Obviously, my favorite building is the 1000 Museum. I have my friend Lewis here. Lewis, what's up, my friend? Hope you are well. Hey, Upstate Albany Walking Show is here. Says, I got the Nightbot set up. Fantastic. Good to see you, Albany. Victor says, how's the weather? The weather is very good. It was actually a little bit chilly this weekend in Miami, but we should be getting back to normal Miami temperatures. Tyler Silva says, hello, Miami, nice to meet you. Good to see you, Tyler Silva. Good to see you. I see Victor, one and only Michelle McGraw. Q Biz is here. My best pal, War Walker. Javier says, good night, Tom. Thank you. A very excellent video, and greetings from Chile. Welcome, everybody from Chile. Good to see you. The investigators here says, Tom, what do you have for us this evening? So we're going to be doing a little bit of a markets a look ahead. It's going to be a busy week on Wall Street. Number one, obviously, I think the biggest day we have to look forward to is Wednesday. So Wednesday, the Federal Open Market Committee announces its monetary policy decision. So are we going to get an interest rate hike? Are we not? I think we're going to get a rate hike. But then again, I don't think it's going to do anything to sort of fight off inflation. I think the only thing it's going to do, if anything, is just restore some confidence in the market that the Federal Reserve is at least trying to be a little bit competent in fighting inflation. But as we all know, raising rates probably won't do anything. It is the money printing that is the problem. Chris Beeman says, Tom, what did you do today? So I was reading a lot. I was working on the Behind the Street newsletter, but I did get a chance to go to Wynwood. Wynwood was beautiful today. Henry Vargas says, nice view, dude. Good to see you, Henry. Welcome. Samantha J says, hey, Tom and everybody. Photos from around New York. Good to see you. So the Paramount building is lit up in the Ukrainian colors, and it'll say freedom right here. Let me take a step back so you guys can have a better view. But I think it's awesome that they did that. It looks crazy. Check that out. Hey, Sheila's here. Says, hey, Tom, happy Sunday. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Photos from around New York says, oh my God, it's almost 9 p.m. I know. I'm getting all messed up now. Kevin Lee is here. Says, good evening, Tom. It's 8:52 from Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Center, Brooklyn. Always good to have everybody from Brooklyn here. Welcome. Sheila, Chris Beeman, Santa, who am I missing? Kathy Lyons is here. Says, hey, Tom and everybody. Thank you and enjoyed the newsletter. Thank you for streaming. Thank you. Maria O is here. Welcome, Maria. So we're walking directly outside of the FTX arena, but right in front of us, you can see the Freedom Tower, which is the main tower here in representing the Cuban immigrant. JQG Atlas is here. Welcome, JQG Atlas. It's going to be another windy night, so I apologize. LaFresh Sinatra says, I love your streams, Tom. You don't mute great music that plays. Yeah, I think I may need to start having to do that because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I think since I have not been muting the music, I think I got like a real copyright strike, like a serious one, and I got to stop getting those because they may take the channel down. Gregory says, evening. Good to see you, Gregory. Hope you're well. Sheila says, Tom, did you go to the festival on 8th Street? I did not, but I kind of wish I did. But I took the day. I spent an hour. I'll give you one more shot of the FTX arena. I spent an hour in Wynwood, Miami, which highly, highly exceeded my expectations. That is a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful. Vinny Castellano from the Staten Island says, Tom, did you hear about the stabbing at a New York museum? So I did hear about that. One of our good friends, Disney cast member, actually sent me that. Totally crazy. I got to look into the story, but Disney cast member did fill me in on that. She sent me a direct message on my IG letting me know what happened. But horrible, horrible. Definitely not a good look there. Sebastian is here. Welcome, Sebastian. I think this is the perfect type of weather, to be honest. It's not hot and it's not humid, which is pretty uncharacteristic for Miami. Miami is known for its humidity, but it's actually not humid at all. It's probably about 72 degrees. Last night was actually cold. Hold on, I'll give you another look at the Paramount building here. Cycle is here. Good to see you, Cycle. Sylvia H says, hello, Tom. This is Sylvia in Nassau County. Awesome. I'm from Nassau as well. Good to see you. So on Monday, everybody, tomorrow, we do have one of the companies that I've been covering for a while. I do not have a position in this company, but it is Coupa Software, ticker symbol COUP. They are going to be reporting earnings after the bell on Monday. And Coupa Software is an expense management company. So an enterprise software company specializing in expense management. So we'll cover that earnings report briefly on tomorrow night's stream. But as we've been talking about, you know, with the threat of interest rates rising, a lot of these very high beta growth stocks, especially in the SaaS software as a service niche, have really been getting clocked, really been getting hit. So it's important not to try to time the market and catch a falling knife. We want to wait for that follow through day. Hey, the investigator says, Tom, Wynwood is ever changing. You could go back next week and it'll look entirely different. Yeah, so the investigator, one of our moderators, Shot by Scott, recommended that I go to Wynwood and try this coffee place called Panther Coffee. It was one of the best coffee shops I've ever been to. Very cool over there, a lot of artwork. You know, it almost reminded me a little bit of Greenpoint walking around. It's a really nice place. I'll definitely be back. Hey, I see Jay is here. Jay says, I stayed at the Holiday Inn across the street from Bayside. How was it, Jay? Did you like it? Let me know how you liked it. Hey, Sylvia's here. Jay, Cycle is here. Sebastian. Lily Ray. What's up, Lily? Says, hello, hope everybody is enjoying their Sunday night. I'm enjoying mine. Mike Bell says, Tom Brady announced he is coming out of retirement and futures went up. Yeah, so Mike, I saw that briefly. I got a notification on my phone. But is that true or is that all speculation? Because there's a lot of false reports out there. And Tom Brady did announce his retirement. So for him to come out of his retirement right now is kind of strange, but maybe it's true. RJ says, hola, Tom from Colorado. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We're going to try to cross the street against this Miami traffic. Hey, Irevis is here. Says, hello, Tom. I hope you're doing good today. I'm doing really good. I had a good weekend. I took some time to recharge. It's going to be a busy week starting tomorrow. It's going to be a busy week at work and also a busy week on Wall Street. We're having a lot of economic data come out. We're going to hear from the Federal Reserve on Wednesday. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think if the Federal Reserve raises rates, do you think the market is going to react positively or negatively on Wednesday? I actually think if the Federal Reserve, you know, if they're very careful with their words and they say, look, we got to raise rates, we're going to do it gradually and hope for a, as they call, soft landing, I actually think the market may react positively. Hey, Static is here. Good to see you, Static. Hemp Lord says, Tom Brady couldn't stay home. Yeah, Latha says, cute Vespa. So for a brief second there, Latha, I was thinking about getting like one of those mopeds, but then again, I'm like, it'll probably be a way too big of a liability. Dogman is here. Says, Tom, it was straight from his Twitter account. Yeah, I think Tom Brady is one of those guys that is a, what would you say, a quote-unquote workaholic. It seems that he can't get away from what he loves to do, which is pretty admirable, pretty cool. Gummy Bear says, Tom, where do you go for a great Miami pizza? Honestly, I haven't had any good pizza in Miami. There's probably good pizza here, but I just haven't had it yet. Hey, Lewis says, Tom, I'm excited for this week. Lee, this is Tom. Looks like gorgeous weather tonight in Miami. It's a little bit windy, but it is good weather. I'm gonna try to go across the street here. Let's take a look at the Paramount building tonight. But that wind is brutal. Hey, Talbot says, hey, Walks on Wall Street, good to see you. Abdullah is in the house. Good to see you, Abdullah. All right, let's try to turn the corner so it's not as windy. So I went to the Apple store today, and they told me I have to come back tomorrow in order to get that little dongle piece for my microphone because they're all sold out. But as you know, Apple devices don't have the headphone jack, so I have to get an adapter in order to use the mic. Hey, Kevin is here. Says, hello, Mr. Tom. Good to see you, Kevin. Welcome. We are outside of the Metro Mover station on Northeast 2nd Avenue. Hey, Liz is here, the Mighty Bull. What's up, Mighty Bull? Irevis says, wow, it is windy. It is crazy, crazy windy here. And I think they're doing so much construction here that the sidewalk is closed. So it may take us a minute to get across the street. Brian is here. Good to see you, Brian. Hey, Jeff is here. Says hello from Nova Scotia. It is windy here too. Hey, Royez Abdullah. Good to see you, Abdullah. Good to see you, the Mighty Bull. So let's check out the very front of the Paramount building. We'll see if it's a little bit less windy over here. We may hit a dead zone. Usually the Wi-Fi is not good over here. Hey, I see Eyeglass Lady. Good to see you, Eyeglass Lady. Welcome. Eyeglass Lady says, I just bought an adapter for my iPhone jack. Good daylight savings time Sunday. Indeed it is. Hopefully we are going to get some daylight back, which is good. So when we make the turn here, I'll show you this new development too. So we're seeing all of these new high-rises go up all over Miami. But I was in Wynwood today and there's so many cranes, so many new development projects there. And I think the vast majority of them are housing, although expensive. Triple G is here, says, hey Tom, chat and mods, good to see you, Triple G. I hope you are well. Wow, check out this place. So as we know, last week we got the CPI numbers. This week we are going to get the PPI numbers. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics is going to release the Producer Price Index for February. The PPI is expected to jump 10% year over year. So another massive inflationary pressure out of the PPI. But while the core PPI excludes volatile food and energy prices, it is seen rising 8.7%. This compares with an increase of 9.7% and 8.3% respectively in January. We are going to get that on Tuesday. JA says, hey Tom, hope all is good. Wow, this looks like a very different from New York City. Like out of the Halo video game. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new developments in Miami. As you could see, you see all the construction equipment over here. So I don't even think this building is done yet, but check out the palm trees and the moon in the background. Lee Arnold says, Tom, it is still snowing in New York City this evening. Wow, that's crazy, Lee. You know, it's March and it's still snowing. That's not good. Hey, Captain Coomer says, most affordable places closest to Miami? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question because I think I was reading an article that said Miami is now the second most expensive city behind LA and New York. So I think it's going to become just like New York and LA in terms of affordability. Unfortunately, the only thing it's got going for it is the tax benefits. So we usually take a look at the 1000 Museum building from the front. This is what it looks like from the backside. Hey, Jimmy Anderson is here. What's up, Jimmy? Good to see you, my friend. Jimmy Anderson runs the Beer and Bets podcast. Good to see you. Joey Tomberlin says, beautiful Miami. Good to see you. Welcome. Christina says, Tom, I wish they can put an adapter jacket in the iPhone. I wish so. I hope so too. Hey, Ryan Rodriguez says most expensive as of February. It's crazy. It's crazy. Solo 401 says beautiful. Good to see you, Solo. Yeah, I love how they installed all of these palm trees here. And if we turn the corner, the internet may go out, but I love all of these murals. So I was in Wynwood today, which is the art and design district in Miami. It was unreal. But the unfortunate thing is the internet is not good in Wynwood. So I think it'd be quite hard for live streaming. So maybe we will have to do a standalone video from Wynwood, but absolutely beautiful. Hey, Kenny says, hey Tom, what part of Miami is this? So we are in downtown Miami tonight. Let me know if we start buffering everybody. but good to see you, Kenny. Ryan Rodriguez, his 1000 Museum is very cool. It is Hadid's building. Yeah, it is. So we'll take another look from the backside. We always see it from the front. But as you guys can see, there's so much construction here. Buildings seem to be popping up everywhere. So hopefully that'll put some pressures on it, the housing, and make some rents go down, hopefully. JA, this is Tom. What are some policies that you've heard to reduce housing costs? Affordability is a big issue in basically every major city. Yeah, so JA, that's a good point. I think the biggest issue that happened, and I don't really want to get too political, but I called this from since the start of the pandemic. And essentially what happened is with all of these eviction moratoriums, a lot of the landlords were essentially stiff. They couldn't evict people out of their apartments or out of their homes that weren't paying rent. And I understand that we were in a global pandemic and you don't want to evict anybody during a pandemic. I get that. But the government promised a lot of these landlords that they would be made whole on their rents. And a lot of that money was not distributed to these landlords. So what's that's created is an environment where the landlords are losing trust in the average everyday person. So just to give you an example, the vacancy rates in New York City are actually relatively stable. The prices are going up, but you're not seeing as many people move in. So new lease signings are actually down, but the price is up. So why are we seeing that divergence? Well, one of my friends, and this is anecdotal data, and this is just my opinion, one of my friends moved back to New York City to work at a restaurant, and he went to his old landlord and said, hey, how many units do you have available in your building? And at the time, the landlord had over 10 units left in the building. But he still wouldn't rent to my friend because he didn't make 80 times the rent. So usually before the pandemic, even though you didn't make 80 times the rent, the landlords would be willing to negotiate with you, right? But I think ever since the pandemic, they're like, I'm not going to take a chance of being stiffed ever again. So if you don't have a 750 credit score, if you don't make 80 times the rent, I am not budging at all and I will not rent to you. So in New York City, if the median rental is $3,500 and you're required to make 80 times the rent, well, how many people are really making into the $200,000 a year? Not many people. So what's this created is an environment where only rich and wealthy people can afford to buy property, rent property, and people that are middle and lower class, I call it the great culling. They are getting so screwed. And I think a big part of it was these eviction moratoriums. Now, this is my opinion. I always like to preface saying it's an opinionated statement. This isn't a fact, this is my opinion. But landlords would rather have their properties sit vacant and only rent to the people that qualify and tick every single box. So I think a lot of these eviction moratoriums, as with any government policy, really backfired on everybody and made things worse. But that is just my opinion. I'm not saying that's 100% what's happening. That's just my opinion. Emilio J says 80 times rent, that seems excessive. Mike C says, oh, 80 times the monthly rent, annual salary, I get it. Yeah, in New York, a lot of landlords are requiring 80 times the rent and a 750 credit score. Rod Metro TV says, is the problem simply people can't rent, borrow, or buy stuff they cannot afford? I'm not sure. Judy D says, oh, they are afraid of the risk. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of very small business landlords that only own about 20 units. And I have a buddy out on Long Island where he still has squatters in his two-family home in the Hamptons right now, as crazy as that may seem. So this is the Paramount building here. Beautiful building. Hey, JC Trade is here. Says hello from Apopka, Florida. Very cool. Good to see you. Ryan Rodriguez says, wow, 80 times. What happened to 40 times? So some landlords do 40 and some landlords do 80. But I've seen some rental contracts where it's 80 times, which is insane. Some landlords in Manhattan are requiring 80 times, but even let's play that theory out with 40 times the rent. Let's say you're trying to rent a place that's $2,000 a month and it's 40 times the rent. still not everybody makes six figures in New York City. So if you're just regular middle class, you're going to work every day, you're making $65,000 a year, and you're a responsible person, you're still going to have a really hard time getting your own place. And that's just the truth. Even 2,000 times 40, and if you're making 70,000 or 65,000, you still can't get in an apartment. It's really a big issue. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. Atomic Skittles says, hey Tom, what part of Miami is this specifically? So specifically, this is Northeast 1st Avenue. And right at the Paramount Miami World Center. Good to see you, the Swan. Cynthia Martinez says, hola Tom, good to see you, Cynthia. The investigator says, Tom, don't forget to visit the Holocaust Museum in Miami Beach. It is unforgettable. That's on my list of things to do. Mike C says, Tom, the false perception is that landlords are rich. Yeah, so here's the thing. You guys know I tend to be more conservative leaning, but I do understand all of the eviction moratoriums. But here's what I don't agree with. The government didn't keep up their side of the deal. A lot of this money was not distributed to the landlords, and they're still trying to actively get it now. So if you're going to essentially screw the landlords and have all of these people, in their apartments, they still have to pay the property taxes. They still have to pay the maintenance. So that's created is an environment where the landlords are like, never again am I going to do this. I'm only going to rent to the top tier people, and they're not going to take a chance on some people that don't make as much money. And I think that's a big problem. Action Kid says it's a big issue with real estate now. Also, the inventory of single-family homes in many markets is very low. Companies like BlackRock are buying them up. Yeah, I think Action Kid makes a great point on that too. If you think about it, I always tell the story of one of my friends. And again, this is anecdotal data, and I always like to tell you guys that, especially when we're doing the live show, because this is a very inclusive show where everybody could share their opinions. So I just like to sort of sometimes tell some stories from my personal life. But one of my friends was going to sell his home on Long Island, and it would have been for about a $250,000 gain. But he's like, Tom, there's no reason for me to sell it, because let's say if I sell my home, I just have to go right back into the market and try to buy another one where there's bidding wars and it's very hard to get a loan. And plus, I don't want to move during a global pandemic. I have kids. It's going to be a big nightmare. So a lot of people are choosing not even to sell their homes right now. So to Action Kid's point, you have increased demand on top of increased lending standards, and couple that with the lowest housing inventory we've ever had in history of the United States. Where do you think prices are going to go? They're going to rip faces off to the moon. So it's a very good point. Hey, Gregory's here. This is nice Lambo. Yeah, there's always really nice cars outside of this place. Very well kept, very beautiful place. Hey, my friend Jonathan Richards is here. This is good evening, Tom. Good to see you, Jonathan. Christina says, Tom, if I was working as a manager for the Bank of Rothschilds, I would live in Tarrytown, New York, not on Central Park West. Oh, like you're saying you'd live upstate New York? Copy that. There's some really nice places in upstate New York. Daryl says some people have no other choice but to get public housing apartments, Tom. Yeah, it's a big problem. Housing is a big problem in the United States. And I think in select counties within California and New York, the permits, the process to get permits is so difficult that we've actually been underbuilding historically. So it's like the perfect storm that happened. You had a global pandemic, you had, landlords getting stiffed. You've had almost 8 years now of historical underbuilding in the United States, and that's created a perfect storm. But this is a nice Lamborghini, very nice car. Beautiful car. Hey, JQG Atlas is more bang for your buck in upstate New York. You definitely get a lot more land in upstate New York. A lot of people don't realize New York State is not just the 5 boroughs. New York is a massive, massive state. You have cities like Rochester, Syracuse, all the way up to Buffalo, Albany, very, very big state. Hey, Cosmo Scary is here. Hey, Cosmo. So we'll walk down this way. And I'll give you guys one more view and then we'll head out. Hey, Community Canners says in Nampa, Idaho tonight, refreshing political climate. Good to see you. Hey, Shop by Scott's just jumping in. Am I late to the party? No, you were right on time, my friend. So Shop by Scott, I was just telling everybody how I went to Wynwood today and loved it. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments. Mike C says even the Florida retirement properties like the Villages is sky high. So those are like the 55 plus communities I guess you're talking about. Captain Coomer says, Tom, what would the salary range where these rental stipulations would not impact? Well, I mean, if you think about it, well, let's just do that quick math then. There was an article that came out that says for the first time ever, the median rental price in New York is $3,400. So if you have to make 40 times the rent of $3,400, well, that means you need to be making six figures. And not everybody makes that. So I think that, you know, there's a big issue with affordable housing in America. And I think it's just because we've been underbuilding historically for single family homes. But you're seeing that in many cities. It's not just New York. I don't want to just continue to dump on New York. I love New York. I'm from there. You know, you're seeing that here in Miami. You're seeing it in LA. You're seeing it in major cities in Texas. It seems like things are just getting more expensive. Shop by Scott says, yeah, man, Panther Coffee is fantastic. In-house roasting. I'm so glad you got to go. Scott, that's probably my top 3 coffee places I've ever been to be totally honest. B says, Tom, Miami neighborhoods are expanding and upgrading from what I can see from the construction. Yeah, there's a ton of construction. And so I was in Wynwood today, which I wish we could have streamed from there, but the internet is not too good in Wynwood. There's almost a crane on every block in Wynwood. So a lot of construction, a lot of development. So hopefully that will at least attempt to solve some of the problems we have with the housing. Emilio J says, people aren't going to have kids anymore. The birth rates are plummeting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely sad. I mean, could you imagine trying to pay your rent with gas prices so high and then, you know, having to educate your kid? It's crazy. Cosmos says, Tom, it snowed a little bit in New York today. Very cool. Paranormal Witness Girls like, Tom, what was for dinner tonight? So I still didn't have dinner, but I'm probably going to cook some chicken when I get home. Hey, Ryan Rodriguez says, Tom, from what I've been seeing, there's a lot of those Wynwood buildings are offices. I wouldn't say they're housing. Gotcha. Yeah, so Ryan, I really don't know what they are. I was only there for an hour today. I didn't have enough time to explore, but yeah, if it's only commercial, then I guess you're right. Ron Metro TV says, Tom, why isn't there just tax incentives? So there are. Let's try to walk down this way because it's going to be so windy over here. There are tax incentives. So for example, there was a really good article in the Wall Street Journal covering a lot of the Billionaires Row towers, both here in Sunny Isles Beach and in Manhattan. And a lot of the developers of those big Billionaires Row towers, what they'll do is they'll build like 2 or 3 affordable housing units in the Bronx or in Brooklyn or one of the outer boroughs in order to get a big tax break on those Billionaire Row towers, right? So it's a work in progress, but it doesn't even scratch the surface to fix the problem. We need to be building a lot more affordable units than just those couple. Santos says, Tom, can you cook? I guess it depends on who you ask. I think I'm an all right cook. Joseph says, hello, Tom. Has the weather been good? Please stay safe. Check twice when you cross the street. Almost got hit on Roosevelt up in Jacksonville today. Jeez, Joseph, please be safe. Yeah, the Florida drivers have been crazy, but the weather's been good. I've been enjoying it. Miguel Gonzalez says, hey, hi, good to see you, Miguel. Captain Coomer says, Tom, have you ever been to Tampa, Florida? What are your thoughts on that part of Florida? I have not personally, so I have no thoughts, but big tech town there. Paranormal Witness Girl says, buying a single family home and renting it as an apartment is annoying when you have to pay HOA fees on top of your mortgage. Yeah, so when I bought my property, I made sure that there was no HOA, no nothing. I don't want to have to deal with that. But to your point, yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of HOA. But everybody, speaking of all this housing talk, this week on the street, we are going to be getting some major housing data. So I'll give you one more look at this and we'll go over some of the housing data we're going to get today. So for example, on Friday, we are going to hear from the Bank of Japan, but before we hear from the BOJ, we are going to hear from the National Association of Realtors. And the National Association of Realtors reports existing home sales for February. And many economists on the street are forecasting a seasonally adjusted rate of 6.1 million homes sold, 400,000 fewer than January. So we're going to see slight deceleration of about 400,000 homes sold. That data is coming out on Friday, but here's how I would interpret that data. But obviously, let's wait for that data to come out. But this is what I will say. I think you're going to see a lot of commentary on Friday about the reason why housing sales are going down is not because demand is going down, but to what Action Kid said earlier in the stream about there's just no supply. I mean, there's literally just no supply. To give you an idea, I went on Zillow the other day and did a quick search in the neighborhood that I just recently bought my home about 4 months ago, and there was only one home for sale. Literally one house was for sale. So on top of the increased lending standards, and there's no supply. It's really crazy. Hey, Marty Lewis is here. Says hello, Tom and everybody. Good to see you, Marty. Dante Rose is here. Says hey, Tom. Hey, we have Dutchman. What's up, Dutchman? Good to see you. Paul P says that place is lit up like it's daytime. Good to see you, Paul. Welcome. Dante Rose says, Tom, do you think there'll ever be a trillionaires row? Who knows? I mean, if it's New York City or Florida, they'll probably make one. Shop by Scott says HOAs in Florida are good. They keep all the neighbors from opening an Airbnb repair shop in their driveway. Jeez. Keith says supply of homes in New Jersey is very low. Yeah, so to Keith's point, it's not just Florida, it's not just New York. We're seeing a housing shortage everywhere. This is a nice apartment building here. JA says with inflation, there will be a trillionaires row. So speaking about inflation, we did get that CPI number that came out last week, 7.9%. And JA, to your point, there was three things that really contributed to that big spike in inflation. Number one being housing costs. Number two being food costs. And number three being energy, so oil and gas. Mike C says, Tom, any comments on the astronaut stuck in the International Space Station? I didn't even know about that. Hopefully everything is good. So here is the backside of the Freedom Tower right here. Elliot Wave says, do you feel that New York uses mostly glass for their buildings, whereas Miami uses stone? Well, Miami, we have to build with a lot of concrete block because we get hurricanes, right? So the home that I bought is all concrete block and a slab, which is reinforced with rebar because of the hurricanes. Let's see if this will work. Can anybody scan this on the screen? Probably not. But this says scan me here. Maybe it'll tell us a little bit more about the development. So let me know if this works. I'll put the camera on it for 1 second. Hey, the JL Fighter says, looked at my old neighborhood on Zillow the other day, and it's true, no houses for sale in 3 different subdivisions. Yeah, the Fighter, I'm telling you, you're right. The neighborhood that I bought in here in Miami, just for fun, I looked up any homes available for sale in my neighborhood, 1. And the house is like a total wreck. It's like, it looks like a missile hit it. Because people don't want to move. Like, even if you sell your house at a profit today, you're just gonna you need some place to live, right? So you're just gonna have to go right back into the housing market and go into a bidding war with all these other people. It's crazy. Hey, Liz says availability might pick up as summer comes. You're right, Liz. Hey, Rich is here. Hey, Rich says boomers are finding it difficult or can't afford to move to smaller homes / a condo without selling existing residence and rather not go to high density living post COVID. Very good point. Very good point, Rich. Hey, Josie is here. Good to see you, Josie. We're taking a little bit of a different path on the stream tonight. But if you guys are enjoying the stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video. Hey, Ron TV Metro says, do you think the housing issue can be slightly solved with better transportation outside cities? Not really, because if you think about what happened during COVID, just to give you a perspective from me, hold on, let's just appreciate the facade of this building for a second. Beautiful architecture here, really, really good stuff. But yeah, so in my instance in New York, a lot of people moved outside of New York City during the pandemic to very rural areas upstate. And even some of the most remote towns in upstate New York, there's like no supply. It's crazy. So I don't think transportation really has anything to do with it, because as we've seen with COVID, you could really work anywhere. You know, a lot of these businesses have gone fully remote or a hybrid model. So here's another building that's going to go up here. So I think they're going to tear this down, and looks like luxury apartments. Hey, Jerry says, can I get a Walk Some Wall Street sticker if I click the like 1,000 times? I don't have any stickers, but maybe I'll print one up for you. Hey, Ryan Rodriguez says, Tom, history has repeated itself in the transportation thing. This happened in the 50s as well, which created the suburbs, especially with I-95 being made. Nothing was fixed. It's a good point, Ryan. That's a good point. So it looks like they're making all new bike lanes here. So this is going to be good once we finally start to skateboard again. Jay Leto says Action Kid. No, Action Kid is made the move down to Miami, as well as me, because I think he just wanted something new experience. I think Action Kid is a born and bred New Yorker, so it's nice to diversify different cities and explore new places. I think he's going to love it here. All right, I want to go to Miami-Dade College because the International Business Center has really cool ticker tape, or the stock market tape, which is awesome. So let's check that out. A bit windy, but so it looks like these are all new bike lanes here. Hey, photos from around New York says, just finished my treadmill run, Tom. Love that photos. Got to get the road work in, as I like to call it. Yeah, Mike C says autonomous trams look futuristic. Yeah, so the Metro Mover reminds me a lot of the air train that we have in New York. Very efficient, very good. Hey, I see Ernest Martinez Jr. says, yo, hit the like button. Good to see you, Ernest. Brian, Good to see you. Action Kids says, I was just there last night, saw the ticker tape, super cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd never even heard of this college before I moved to Miami. And I kind of wish I was college age again. I may go here. But I believe this is either a satellite campus of Miami-Dade College, but let's see what it's called. I think we got yelled at the last time we were here, so we may have to get out of here. But this is Miami-Dade College. And you're gonna see in a minute over here, there's gonna be all the ticker tape that shows all the stock prices. Oh, I think it's broken, but it's still there, but it's not up. So you got the SQs, the QQQs, the NASDAQ 100. This is one of my favorite places. So this is the Financial Technology and Trading Lab. You know, maybe one day during market hours, we'll do a quick markets, a look ahead stream from here. Hey, JA is here, says, where is University of Miami located? So the University of Miami, I believe, is in Coral Gables, Florida, I think. Elliot Wave Review says, are you avoiding the spring break areas of the city? No, I was in South Beach not too long ago, and I was in Wynwood today. But I do notice there's a lot of people here now, which is good. Yeah, Action Kids like don't need it. Working now anyway. Market's closed until tomorrow. I think futures are open. Before I started the stream, I think the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract was up about 50 points or so. So we'll see. I think the market is still going to fall under a little bit of pressure here. You know what? I'm actually curious now. Let's see if these are Bloomberg terminals. So if these are Bloomberg terminals in here, and I can tell you in a second if they are, the kids that go here should sit here for 12 hours a day and not get up. I don't know. They don't look like Bloomberg terminals, but are they? No, I don't think that's... Oh, this is cool. So this is Student Managed Investment Fund. Our students' team manages real dollars for the benefit of future Miami-Dade College students. Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, Liz says they don't look like it. I thought they were, but if they do have free Bloomberg terminals here, if I was a student here, I would sit there and learn all the commands and I would never get up. Hey, Oreo777 says, hey, it's really nice of you for not bashing another YouTuber. I respect it. No, actually, kid's great. I don't bash anybody. He's a great guy. Photos from around New York says futures are up and oil is down. Lisa, security had an issue with your public photography. I know, a little crazy, but everybody, so Monday, just a quick recap. It's not a big earnings week, so the majority of companies in the S&P 500 have already reported earnings. But Coupa Software is one of those enterprise software companies that I do cover, or have covered in the past. Ticker symbol is COUP. And this is another stock that's been getting crushed. With interest rates rising, a lot of these high beta tech stocks are going to fall under pressure. But on Tuesday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is going to release its producer price index for February. The PPI is expected to jump 10% year over year, while the core PPI, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, are seen rising 8.7%. This compares with increases of 9.7% and 8.3% respectively in January. So we have the PPI on Tuesday, we had the CPI last week. So it seems like these inflationary pressures are going to continue, and it should be interesting to see the inflationary pressures and how that translates to the housing market as we get a lot of housing data, especially on Wednesday and Friday when we hear from the National Association of Realtors reporting their monthly home sales. Mike C says, I have a small piece of the Berlin Wall in my drawer. Really? We had friends that lived in Eastern Europe in the 80s and 90s. That's an amazing piece of history. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Hey, Sheila Neal says Miami-Dade Community College, Wolfson campus. Is this a community college? I don't think so, is it? I mean, if it is, that's even better. I mean, that's a great program for community college students. Hey, Marty Lewis says Miami-Dade College became a 4-year school in 2003. Before that, it was a 2-year school. Interesting. Is there a Berlin Wall piece here? Maybe there is. I'm not too sure where it is. But we'll cross and we'll walk over the bridge. Okay, a lot of people are saying it is a community college. It looks like a big campus. It looks like a 4-year. Hey, Lewis is here. What's up, Lewis? Always good to see you. Judy D says, wow, McDonald's. Yeah. I like how futuristic the train looks as it's snaking through the city. Lee says MDCC is Miami-Dade Community College. LaFresh Sinatra says looks way better than BMCC in New York City. So BMCC is near the World Trade Center, I believe, isn't it? Or am I confused with something else? No, I think BMCC is right outside of the One World Trade Center. I think. Hey, Heather says my mom went to Miami-Dade in the 60s. Awesome. So I could tell this area probably looked very, very different because a lot of these buildings look brand new. So maybe the area is completely different than it once was. So I'll show you guys the Metro Mover. This is College Bayside Station. Ryan Rodriguez says it's no longer a community college. The official name is just Miami-Dade College. I have a degree from there. Awesome. So Ryan, maybe you can give us some clarity. Do they have free Bloomberg terminals in there for students? Well, this is a cool little area here. Hey, Diego's here. What's up, Diego? I think downtown Miami is so crazy. You have, I mean, the trains being elevated like this with the palm trees and then the skyscrapers. It just looks so weird. I mean, weird in a good way, not a bad way. It looks crazy. Hey, JC Trader, good to see you. This cool shot. Layda says Miami University has Ohio. I think there's a Miami college in Ohio. like, Tom, the trains are elevated due to the water table. Yeah, I kind of like the trains above ground anyway. Looks a little bit cooler, I think. And I think, I mean, and this is just my opinion, it may be a little bit safer to have them elevated. Just my thought. Hey, Michelle is here. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, Michelle McGraw, a great moderator. So I believe this is going to be the site, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but I think this is the construction site of the Waldorf Astoria building, which is supposedly going to be the tallest residential building south of Manhattan. Hey, Two Wheel Pines are here. Good to see you, Two Wheel Pines. Hey, Rob DeCaros is being the warm weather up here. Oh, bring the warm weather there in Ohio. I'll try. B says, I think elevated trains in general are better since in Miami, it doesn't stop the traffic. Interesting. Agreed. Hey, Aldo Gomez is here. Welcome, Aldo. Parking full time says Miami University is in Ohio. My alma mater, University of Miami, is in Florida. Very cool. Ron Metro TV, but good to see you parking full time. Ron Metro TV says, does it come down to developers not seeing profit in low and medium housing? There's actually, there's big margins in trailer parks. I'm not sure if anybody knew that, but if you want to look into good investment with massive margins, I'm talking about big. Trailer parks are actually quite a good investment. Hey, Sam is here. So Tom, have you run into AK yet? Not yet. Probably very soon, but not yet. I think he's still trying to get situated and settled into his place, I think. I'm not sure where he's going to live, but if you look straight ahead, you will see the Ferris wheel at Bayside. Hey, Trevor says, Tom, do you think Miami can sustain its growth for the next 5 to 10 years? I think so. I think so. I'm very bullish on the city of Miami. I'm bullish on a lot of up-and-coming cities like Atlanta, Georgia, San Antonio, Texas. But I'm also bullish on New York as well. I just think that you're going to see more diversity in wealth creation to smaller cities across the United States, which I think is a good thing. And I think that's mainly due to remote work. Okay, so we are crossing over. This is Northeast 3rd Street in Miami. And we are now crossing over towards Bayside. And maybe we'll check out the Intercontinental Hotel. There's all of these Vespas you could rent here as well in downtown Miami. I don't think I would ever do that, but that's just me. Hey, Tony Cortez says, yesterday was my friend Monica's birthday. Well, happy birthday, Monica. Lewis says, Tom, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on crypto? So I'm very bullish Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think a lot of the other alternative altcoins, a lot of them are these pump and dump style schemes and all those things. But speaking of cryptocurrency, the Walks on Wall Street channel, we did manage to get a press pass to the Bitcoin 2022 conference. So we will be live at Bitcoin 2022, live streaming 6 keynote speeches. So I picked Michael Saylor, which is the CEO of MicroStrategy, Andrew Yang, and many, many others. Maybe we will get in Michael Novogratz, but that is to be determined. So if you guys want to watch live the keynote speeches of some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you here in Miami on the 6th through the 9th. Hey, Irevis is here, says, can't wait to see that, thank you. Lewis is nice, good to see you, Lewis. Aldo Gomez says, wait, was that an airplane? I hear it. Yeah, so directly, I guess this is west. So a lot of the airplanes take off from Miami International and you see them fly overhead, make a U-turn, and many of them are going to New York and things like that. Hey, Tom AK is here. Good to see you, Tom. I see Lewis British Gray is here from Tampa. Welcome, British Gray. Sharon is here. Says, good evening, Tom. Thanks for the walk this evening and a great Sunday. Thank you. Jeff Pickles is here. Says, hey, Tom, we are watching you from Yorkshire, England. Love the New York walks and now a fan of the Miami walks. Hey, Jeff. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it, Jeff. Yorkshire, England must be a beautiful place. So I'll let you guys decide. Should we do a quick walk around Bayside, or should we head up towards Brickell? I'll let you guys decide. Hey, Maria's here. Says, good night from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good to see you. Tony Lagas says, hey, my friend, how are you? Enjoying the lovely walk in Miami, having nice coffee. Enjoy from Sydney, Australia. Welcome, everybody from Sydney. Cynthia Martinez says, Tom, I'll move to France before I move to Spain or the UK. Interesting. Hemp Lord, good to see you. Bayside. Hey, Ibada's here. What's up, Ibada? All right, I guess we'll take a quick walk through the one and only Bayside. So, Ibada, it's good to see you. Hopefully you had a good weekend. We were just talking about it's going to be a big week on the street. We're getting a lot of housing data. And obviously, Ibada, as you know, we are going to hear from the big dog, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. So supposedly we are going to get a rate hike on Wednesday. Wow, check out this view from Bayside here. You could see the Paramount building with Freedom. We were actually just right under the building about 30 minutes ago on the stream. This is a crazy view from here. Hey, Cindy Foley's here. Our pal Cindy says, hey, Tom. Good to see you, Cindy. Hope you are well. Christina says, Tom, are you going to be going up on the Ferris wheel at Bayside? Probably not. Heights are not my thing, in full honesty. Hey, Jesse is here. Good to see you, Jesse. Diego. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the buildings here in downtown Miami are lit up with the Ukrainian colors. Ken Dreyer is here. Welcome, Ken. I see John. John, good to see you. Says, hey, Tom, I'm here too. Steve says, my wife is in Miami right now. Cold there this weekend. Yeah, Steve. You know, Steve, you're right. It was quite moderate temperature here. I'm actually wearing a hoodie, and it is quite windy. Yesterday was about 66 degrees. I think the current temperature in Miami right now is roughly 70. And very low humidity, which is pretty out of character for Miami. So I just recently planted one of these trees in my backyard. Very small, but it's going to look exactly like this. The reason why I chose it is because it looks like something out of a Jurassic Park movie. And I actually think this is not a palm tree. I think it's called something else. I forget what it's called. Hey, my favorite person, Faith, is here. Good to see you, Faith. Welcome. We are at Bayside again, and we briefly did a market to look ahead. It's going to be a big week. We're going to hear from the Federal Reserve and a lot of housing data. So we are going to hear from the National Association of Realtors. They are going to report their housing data on Friday, but also we are going to hear from the Bank of Japan. And the interesting thing about the Bank of Japan is that they are known for negative interest rates. And I know what you're thinking, negative interest rates, that's crazy. To which I would say, yeah, it is crazy. So as all the major central banks in the world are actually raising rates, the Bank of Japan is holding steady at negative interest rates. And many people, and I think many people in the chat too, think that the United States is going to go about the way that Japan is with negative interest rates, which is really bizarre. So essentially you have to pay money to keep your money in the bank, which is crazy. Hey, Dog D is here. Says that's an Air France 777. Good to see you. Lee Arnold says, Tom, interest rates in the UK is still only 0.25%, lowest level since 1694. Insane. James Bush, my friend, is here. Says, hey, Tom, greetings from Australia. enjoying Miami. I would like to go to Australia once all the restrictions end. That is on my bucket list of places to go. But on Friday, the Bank of Japan announces its monetary policy decision. The Bank of Japan is expected to leave its key short-term interest rate unchanged at negative 0.1%. So think about that, negative 0.1% rates. So here's another view of the Paramount building. Hey, Matthew C says commodities are taking a breather. Yeah, they are. So Matthew C, I wrote about this in the Behind the Street newsletter. So if you guys are not signed up to get the Behind the Street newsletter, I think it's a great resource. It's free. I write a financial newsletter that is macro based. So not only do we talk about US equities, we talk about emerging markets and commodities. And one of the pieces that I wrote last week was that I think oil is going to correct here. I think if you look at ticker symbol CL, which is the futures contract, I think it's going to come down a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see $90 a barrel oil, and then we could reassess, and then maybe it'll probably go higher than that. But if you want to sign up, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where you can punch in your email and sign up. So this is the Bayside Marketplace. Pier 5. Hey, Matthew P is here. Says, good evening, Tom, old chap. Good to see you, Matthew. Welcome. Hey, John says, Tom, Bayside in the ocean, not too far away from the beach. Yeah, you're right. James Bush says, would love to see you in Australia, Tom. Yeah, one of my really good friends that I played soccer with in college is from, I think he's from Sydney. Yeah. So hopefully I will get a chance to go there at least sometime. But with the pandemic, that's put all travel plans on hold. But I think things are starting to open back up again, which is good. We'll go towards the water and see if we see any fish or dolphins like we did last time. Hey, Darrell B says, hey, Tom, great night for a walk and enjoying your stream, and have a great night. Hey, Darrell, thank you for joining. Best Times Reborn says, Tom, would love Karen's in Queensland, Australia. Jennifer Kelly is here, says, hi there, so great to see that you are in my hometown. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you, and thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah, I'm very new to Miami, so I'm not... I don't really know too much about it, but I think I'll learn as I get accustomed to the environment down here for sure. I've only been here for about 4 months. Yeah, so Paranormal Witness Girl, supposedly they're going to redo Bayside again. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but supposedly they're redoing the entire thing. Photos around New York says almost 10 p.m. Yikes. Liz says it's pretty busy for a Sunday. I think it may be busy because of the, what's it called? Spring break. Hey, Butler says, Tom, I can't believe that tree you planted is called a palm frond. Oh, is it really? I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna take a picture of it when I get home. But supposedly it's actually not a palm tree. It is, it's a plant that's prehistoric. I got it from Home Depot. It was expensive. It was like 30 bucks for a tree. But supposedly it is gonna grow really, really slow, and it gets to be full size in 150 years. So hopefully if we're still alive in 150 years, I will stream the full growth of the tree if I'm still alive and kicking. Tom AK says, this is spring break, yeah. Jim says, Tom, how do you hold the camera so steady? So we use a gimbal, which is sort of like a stabilizer, which helps with the stability. Sebastian says, do you know Action Kid? Yes, I do. I do know actually Kid, very good guy, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up soon. He is moving down here as well. Kathleen says, Tom, I missed the link for the newsletter. So Kathleen, if you type !news, N-E-W-S in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link, or if you go the first link in the description of this video, so the first link in the description, you'll be able to see where it says the Behind the Street newsletter. I'm going to send the newest edition, which is the 19th edition, out to everybody on Monday after the bell closes on Monday. Hey, Cool Weather Farmer is here. Good to see you. Ken Glass is here. Says, hi, Tom. Will you be at the Ultra Music Festival? Probably not, but I have heard about that, Ken. So maybe we will. Maybe I'll check it out. I gotta see. Photos Around New York says, can you schedule a premiere for 150 years from now? I will. When I go home, we'll leave the premiere for the fully grown palm frond in my front yard. But yeah, it's the slowest growing plant, supposedly, and it takes about 150 years to grow full size, so it should be interesting. Hey, John W. says Bayside is really happening tonight. Hey, John. Good afternoon, John. Thank you for joining. Mike C says, always enjoy getting your newsletter. Thank you. Hey, Ken Dreyer says, I'd rather be the captain of my own ship, even if it's just a bathtub. Interesting. Dr. Ray Rays is here. Good to see you. Jennifer Kelly says, is Hooters still there? I'm not sure, actually. I don't see one, but there's so many different places here. It's crazy. Hey, Roy S. is interesting that daylight savings time is not applied yet in Europe this weekend. Yeah, I mean, so which is the, I think Arizona, they don't have to spring ahead or something like that. But if anybody wants to read all of the archives of the newsletter, I made sure I keep it up on the website. But I always try to put very useful links. A lot of the podcasts I listen to, I also include, so feel free to do that. But I think we almost have 700 people signed up for it, which is insane, being that we started this all but 3 months ago. So really appreciate everybody taking the time to read it. And I think we have almost a 75% open rate, which I was looking online, and supposedly that's unheard of for newsletters. I think a good open rate is about 30%. So we have almost 75% of the people that are receiving the newsletter are opening it. So thank you guys for that. Dutchman says, Tom, yes, Arizona and Hawaii do not do daylight savings time. Hey, Sally is here. Welcome, Sally. Good to see you. We are here at the Bayside Marketplace. James is in Arizona. The Navajo region still do daylight savings time. This is James. Good to see you, James. Faith says it's a busy night in Miami. William Kaiser, good to see you. So we've already been streaming for over an hour, so I do have to keep my eye on the clock. Time really does fly. So here's some more boats. I think this is a maybe a tour boat, perhaps. Hey, Max, this Hawaii sure doesn't do daylight savings time. Aloha, good to see you, Max. So Max is from Hawaii, very cool. Hey, Brad's Brains says, Tom, I can't believe the amount of content in the newsletter. Really do appreciate it. Love the charts. Thank you so much. If you're enjoying it, please share it with a friend or a colleague. You know, it's interesting the amount of feedback I've been getting on it. We actually have some big-time analysts on Wall Street that have actually appeared on CNBC that are reading it. I won't obviously disclose them. But it's just really crazy, really, really crazy. So this is a very famous and notable restaurant here by a very talented musician. I believe Nicky Jam, I believe, is the musician. Very famous, extremely popular. And there's always a line to get into the restaurant, which is right here. John says, Tom, are you going to get something to eat along there by the beach? I'm probably going to eat when I get home. I did do a Costco run, so I have a lot of food at the house. Paranormal Witness Girl says, because Tom is a vampire, he only comes out at night. Hey, Melee is here, says, thank you, Tom, for what you do. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Jesse says, Tom, will you explain the Bank of Japan and low oil prices internationally affecting why they couldn't reach their low percentage? And with things as they are now, how can this be done? Oil prices are quite high. Jesse, could you rephrase that? Maybe there was a typo in there. Jennifer Kelly says, how do I sign up for the newsletter? It's the first link in the description of this video. So if you expand the description, you'll see like where it says sign up here. Or if you type !news. But Bank of Japan has artificially low interest rates and even negative rates. So they have negative interest rates in Japan. But we're going to hear from the Bank of Japan on Friday. So the Bank of Japan will be essentially signaling to the world what their policy is going to be on Friday. So on March 18th, the Bank of Japan is expected to leave its key short-term interest rate unchanged at negative 0.1%. And this is really interesting because the vast majority of central banks around the world are actually in hiking cycles. So they're raising interest rates. The Bank of Japan is the only central bank that's actually keeping interest rates negative and may cut rates further, which is kind of interesting. Paranormal Witness Girl. So somebody says, why don't I stream during the day? I'm working during the day, unfortunately. So I usually work about 8 o'clock, 8 to 8 sometimes, or sometimes like 10 to 8 if I could schedule my calls later in the day. Hey, Marcelo says, hello, my name is Marcelo from Brazil. Thank you for enjoying the stream, Marcelo. Okay, so I think we may start to buffer here. So let me know if we run into a buffer spot. Ken Glass, thank you for reading. I appreciate it. So this is the Ferris wheel at Bayside. Trevor, I think we all tend to work the same amount of hours. And it's easy for me to work and adjust here in Miami because obviously we're in the same time zone as New York. I think the only part of Florida that's in a different time zone is maybe the Panhandle. What is that, Pensacola, Florida? I think they are 1 hour behind, I think. Hey, Chef Jordan Ramsey says, Tom, what camera are you using? We are streaming from an iPhone 11. So we'll head towards Brickell because that's where my bus is anyway. Hey, Tom AK is here. Good to see you. Chef Jordan Ramsey says, wow, it looks great. Hey, thank you. I see Marcelo is here. Welcome. Hey, Jonathan Francis. Good to see you. What's up, Jonathan? So we usually walk this way, but it's all under construction. So we're going to have to go all the way around and down, which is fine. We'll try to walk through this way, but we may start to buffer. So we'll walk this way and out. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to smash the like button. So I think one of the ways to get a better picture quality when streaming, you got to make sure you adjust the frame rate. I think that's the thing that does it the most. Microphone, but I got to get the adapter. I was going to get the adapter today, but the Apple store did not have it in stock. So the wind noise is going to be an issue for today, but tomorrow we should be good. I do have a microphone, but I lost the little dongle adapter that goes with it. So we may have to struggle through with the wind noise for a little bit longer, but hopefully it will be fixed by tomorrow when we pick it up. Paranormal Witness Girl, good to see you. JC Trades is CL, oil, and ES down. Wow, so the S&P 500 futures actually flipped negative, which is interesting. So I'll make Paranormal Witness Girl a moderator, just because I think we're getting a little bit of crazies in the chat. Hey, Eyeglass Lady says, Miami is so cheerful. That it is. So everybody, on Wednesday, in addition to the FOMC meeting, we are going to hear from the National Association of Home Builders, and they are going to release its housing market index for March. The consensus is for an 80 reading, but that would be 2 points below the February figure. So the number one thing about home builders that they're saying is they're overall bullish on the housing market, but one of the things that is a big headwind for them is not only rising interest rates and increased lending standards, it's the shortage of skilled labor. So in the United States, we have an extreme shortage of HVAC mechanics, of electricians, and just people that are skilled laborers in general. So a lot of these single family home projects or these custom builds are getting set behind weeks, if not even months. So it's going to be interesting to hear from the home builders on Wednesday to see where their big headwinds lie. And we would think, commodities prices are going through the roof. You think about lumber, you think about copper. Yeah, those are headwinds, but above all, they say that the biggest headwind they're facing is a shortage of skilled labor. So if there's anybody in the chat, if you can turn a wrench, you could pretty much have a job anywhere in the United States right now, especially if you're very skilled in electrical work or HVAC. Vernon, Dan, can you please, we can't have any of that here. Sorry about that. Hey, Mark Davis is here. Says, good evening there, Tom. Hope all is well with you from Toronto, Canada. Good to see you, Mark. Welcome. Shaquem is here. Says, hey, good to see you, Shaquem. Yeah, Jonathan France's materials and labor are a big issue. Hey, Sherry Spencer says Jamaican flag. Yeah, let's see the what flags they have here. I think that one is from Argentina, I believe, and then Turkey, and then Colombia, and this one is Germany. So we'll head to the left. We will head out. Hey, Joshua Lopez is here. Says, hello, Tom. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Triple G says, Tom, are you still considering gold? I am still considering it. If gold breaks to a new all-time record high, I will be starting a position. But gold is short-term extended. I think we're going to correct a little bit back to the moving averages. But I am going to talk about that in this week's Behind the Street newsletter. So after the bell tomorrow, everybody will have that in their email box. But I think gold is one of those risky trades that if a lot of this geopolitical risk tends to die down, you know, we could see a massive reversal in crude, we could see a massive reversal in gold. But if gold cracks new all-time record highs, I mean, the measured move on that is about 30% higher. Hey, Patrick, New York. Good to see you, Patrick. Hope all is well there in New York. Supposedly it was snowing there today. Ben Alfred says, any thoughts on Johnson & Johnson? Well, I think it's in the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500, isn't it, by weighting? It actually may be number 10. But Johnson & Johnson is not really like a growthy style company. So the stocks that I tend to cover is really enterprise software, mainly because I am in enterprise software and tech. But I think Johnson & Johnson is number 10 in terms of weighting in the S&P. Patrick, New York says, good to see you too, Tom. Always good to have you here, Patrick. Thank you for joining. Paolo says, Tom, do you speak Portuguese? No, but I am learning Spanish. I am learning Spanish. Hey, Sunshine Solar City Lights is here. Says, hey, good to see you. Karina Thompson, the one and only, is here. DJ Mike says, good night all. Good to see you, DJ. And we have Penelope here from the one and only Tennessee. It's good to see you, Penelope. John W. says, what do you think about Snowflake, ticker symbol SNOW? So one of my really good friends is actually an enterprise account executive at Snowflake, but this is what I'll say. A lot of those big unicorn companies, as we like to call them, a lot of them went public and a lot of them had a ton of hype. And the valuations on these were extremely stretched. I mean, you're talking about price to sales, price to earnings that were just in the stratosphere. So I think you're going to see a lot of this stuff correct. I think Snowflake is now either trading at IPO price or below IPO price. But for me, I just can't buy any stock that is not profitable. And I think Snowflake is still losing money. But I will say, Snowflake is a good company if you're looking for opportunities, especially in enterprise software sales. They have very lucrative compensation packages there at Snowflake. I am watching the stock, but the valuation is just completely stratospheric. And I think that's why it's trading down, I think 70% now. But maybe I'll talk about Snowflake in this week's Behind the Street newsletter. Sam Miguel says, hey Tom, good to see you. Sorry I was away from the keyboard. Good to see you, Sam Miguel. Always good to have you here. So, in addition to Snowflake, a lot of those SPACs as well are getting absolutely clobbered. And for those of you who don't know, a SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company, which were made more fashionable now, especially after COVID. And I think a lot of this stuff was just a big cash grab for a lot of these money managers. And a lot of this stuff is trading well below IPO price and have been just getting hammered. I think there was only one successful SPAC, in my opinion, and I think that was that DKNG? I forget. Maybe if it was DraftKings. I think it was one of the sports betting applications. I think that's the only company that's profitable. All these other ones, like the Trump SPAC, the social media company, all of them are junk. I wouldn't touch them unless they have earnings. But all of these SPACs, look, on Wall Street, you got to understand something. Wall Street makes its money from fee income, right? And there's a ton of fee income in deal structure, a ton. So Wall Street investment banks want to pump out IPOs. They want to pump out SPACs, and that's how they make their money. Faith, I forgot if I asked you, did you ever make it to Paris? I thought you were going to go to Paris. Veronica Nunez, my friend, says, hello, Tom. What part of Miami is this? So this is downtown Miami. If we continue to walk this way, we are going to walk over the bridge to Brickell. But if you keep walking straight up here, you will run into the FTX Arena. Ryan Rodriguez says, DKNG DraftKings is down 76% year over year, but still up from IPO. Yeah, a lot of those SPACs it was a total mania. But I think that's the only company that's profitable, I think. I have to look at it, I'm not too sure. But you look at any of them, like the Richard Branson SPAC, all of the nonsense, a lot of the EV nonsense. Leidos is Miami, has a deficit of Bloomberg terminals, it seems. Yeah, Dogman says, Tom, even DKNG made new all-time lows. Yeah, you see, I mean, a lot of the SPACs are junk. Lucid Motors, yeah, that's another one. So a special purpose acquisition company, it's essentially the exact opposite of the IPO, right? So you create a shell company, you raise the money first, and then you look to acquire a company to merge with the shell company, and then it goes public. So I think just that in and of itself creates a little bit of frothy environment. But Lewis is being built Ultra State. Oh, the stage. You're right. So this is, I believe, the big music festival that's going to go on here. Hey, Jessica Rodriguez says, hey, Tom, guess who's back? Back again. It is Jessica. Good to see you. Thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, Dogman says Fubo. I think that was the TV company, right? That streams the sports, I believe. DJ Mike says, what's a good app to use for stock trading? So I really use a lot of the old school brokers. The only two brokers that I use are Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab. I really don't think that the Robinhoods or the Weebles are really places you should be putting your money, but that's just my opinion. And that's mainly because I think, like, look, I understand that they have to do their marketing, but I think that it could be a little bit deceptive the way Robinhood conducts their business, potentially a little bit unethical, I think. Essentially, they have like gamified investing, which, you know, it could be fun for a kick to, you know, invest into a bunch of penny stocks when you're a kid, but I think that builds incorrect and improper investment behavior, which can really have a negative impact on people's lives down the road. So that's why I don't use Robinhood. I don't align with them in terms of those values. I also think it's a horrible broker, and I wouldn't trust them with my money. So I just use IB or Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab. I think anytime you have an investment platform, whenever you initiate a trade, there's confetti blowing around and all balloons and stuff. I think that's a little bit disingenuous to the user, because obviously you're trying to get the user to trade, but that develops poor investment habits over the long term. Hey, 007 says, hey Tom, what are your thoughts on CRISPR Therapeutics? So I think CRISPR Therapeutics is another one of those companies that don't make any money. And I think I've said it before, I don't really invest into biotech stocks, mainly because I don't think I'm smart enough. Because if you think about it, a lot of these very small biotech stocks, the only sort of way they're going to stay in business or make any money is if their drugs that they're manufacturing are going to get FDA approval. And a lot of the times these stocks will trade at stratospheric valuations because a lot of people on Wall Street believe that the FDA is going to approve their specific drug. But a lot of times what happens is you'll have news that'll come out overnight where it'll say, hey, this particular stock, or this particular company, they were working on XYZ drug. It didn't pass the clinical trial phases and the FDA disapproved their drug. And then the stock is down 90% overnight. So that's really why I don't invest in biotech. I'm not smart enough. I don't really know anything about what goes into making drugs. So I don't really know what the FDA is going to approve or not. But then on the other hand, if the FDA comes out and says this drug is approved, that stock could rip faces off and be up 100% or 50% overnight. It's just not really within my risk profile, and I don't really know too much about it. And I think you're increasing your risk with those type of companies. Hey, Veronica Nunez says, Tom, which do you like more, New York or Miami? I think I like them equally, to be honest. Hey, Dogman, or through releasing fluff PRs. That's true. Hey, Elias is here, says hello from the Dominican Republic. Welcome, Elias. Good to see you. Karina Thompson says, Tom, did you go to a Billy Joel concert? Not yet. In the works, though, I promise. But supposedly CRISPR is a very good company. They do gene editing. So I'm very bullish on sort of that space overall. Because, I mean, if you can manipulate DNA and edit your genes to cure diseases, I think that's going to make the world a better place. I'm just not smart enough to invest in it. Hey, Mark Davis says, Tom, you were saying you might come to Toronto. We are almost back to normal with all the restrictions being lifted. I'm excited about that, Mark. I hope to come to Toronto very soon. I think we're going to cross the street because we always reach a little bit of a dead spot over here. Cynthia, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. I see Vinny Castellano. Vinny, is it still snowing in Staten Island? Ooh, that's making me really want to skateboard now. So we'll cross the street. We'll walk a little bit of a different way. Yeah, photos from around New York. It's insane sort of what modern medicine and modern technology can do. So John, I'm not going to disclose anymore when I'm going to be coming and going between New York City and Miami, but relatively soon. Let's cross the street, let's walk up this way. I don't think we've ever been up this way on the street, so we'll check out the internet. I'll give you one more look at the Metro mover here. Somebody says, how do I feel about Boston? I really like Boston. I don't think I would ever want to live there, but very big pharmaceutical town. Hey, Ryan Rodriguez says, I'm going for the night, Tom. Hoping you could DM you a question on your IG. Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you guys want to connect on IG, it's in the link in the description. Also, if you want to connect on Twitter, you could follow @WalksWallStreet. I tend to be most active on Twitter if you guys are on Twitter. So you can feel free to follow @WalksWallStreet on Twitter. I would say I'm on Twitter mostly because I think financial Twitter is a very good place to share ideas. So this is the Greek Grill here. This reminds me of New York City almost. Hey, Nicholas Persad is here. It says, pleasant night, Tom. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Hope you're well, Nicholas. Don C says, Tom, is crude oil a good investment with all that's going on? So I'm not sure. I mean, my opinion on it is I think that crude in the energy trade is a little bit long in the tooth. I'm not sure if you read last week's issue of Behind the Street newsletter, but I said any major sort of rally in the XLE or the energy sector, I would use that liquidity to potentially exit positions, because I think it's getting a little bit long in the tooth here. I think once the mainstream media starts talking about it, I think this Russia stuff is priced in. I think any big rally or rip in the XLE, use that liquidity to take profits. Even if that's just short term, because crude oil is extended over the 50-day and the 200. So here we have a Starbucks coffee. Let's see what time it closes. I'm actually kind of curious. Hey, Out and About is here. Good to see you. Welcome, Out and About. I don't think we've ever walked over here before. Out and About is our moderator from Toronto, Canada. Good to see you. Ron Metro TV says, do you think investing in logistics and shipping is a good idea? Well, I think there's one company that is reporting really, really good earnings, but then again, a lot of these shipping stocks are very cyclical in nature. So usually right as their earnings are peaking, the stocks start to roll over, at least a little bit. So this is Southeast 2nd Street. We are right outside of the Whole Foods, but check out the traffic here. A lot of traffic. Hey, Shauno says hello from Detroit. Good to see you. John says, respect you, Tom. Respect you too, John. So, John, this is the Whole Foods here as well. get a quick time check in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm not going to miss the bus. XXO Bob, is that what it's called? Is that called Miami Tower? I thought it was called the City National Bank. But you would probably know better than me. Supposedly this Whole Foods is very nice in here. I've never been in there, but maybe I'll have to check it out tomorrow. I'm gonna be down in Brickell working tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff to do. Hey, Manthony18 says, Tom, are you going to the Ultra Festival at the end of March? A lot of people have been asking me that. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. Probably not. But we'll see. Hey, Robert Parker's here. Good to see you, Robert. Welcome. Paranormal Witness Girl says there's a Starbucks in South Beach that's open 24/7. So Southeast 2nd Street. I think we're headed southbound now. We're gonna be able to see the bridge in just a minute. I'm not a big music festival type of person though, so I don't know if I'll go there. The investigator says live a little. We'll have to check it out. Hey, Dana says, hey Tom. Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina. What's up, Daniel? Just having issues with the streaming quality on my TV. Yikes. Well, good to see you, Daniel, as always. Welcome. So this is the entrance to the Whole Foods here in downtown Miami. Jay Leto says, Tom, this doesn't look like a normal neighborhood where regular people live. I think it's the mainly office buildings, but I think this building looks like it's residential. So from here, you guys could see the very back of the Aston Martin building. So this is a new building that's about to be finished. I think it's going to be finished later this year. Yeah, that's right. Whole Foods was acquired by Amazon. So speaking of Amazon, Amazon did announce a 20-for-1 stock split last week. Now that doesn't do anything to change the valuation metrics. This is a very nice Tesla here. But, you know, that tells you what a frothy market we are in and very bear market activity. When Amazon announced the stock split, the stock popped like 10% after hours. So that is not healthy action in the market. The biggest rallies in some stocks tend to happen towards bear markets. Yeah, Layla's like Tom and his Teslas. I just really like the design. I've yet to see a Tesla Model X though. We have yet to see a Tesla Model X. This place is very nice too. Beautiful in there. This is the Wells Fargo Center. And I think this is the Epic building. Hey, Solo401 says, Tom, every car will be a Tesla in 10 years in Rhode Island. Always good to see a Solo. So everybody, we covered a lot on the stream today. My phone is going to run out of battery, but I appreciate everybody joining. We covered on Monday, Coupa Software, ticker symbol COUP, is reporting earnings. Big enterprise software company that specializes in spend management software. On Tuesday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release its Producer Price Index, or the PPI. It is expected to jump 10% year over year, while the core PPI, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, is seen rising 8.7%. This compares with an increase of 9.7% and 8.3% respectively for January. Obviously, I think the biggest day of the week is going to be Wednesday, when we see the Federal Open Market Committee, or the FOMC, will announce its monetary policy decision. The FOMC is expected to raise the federal funds rate by a quarter of percentage point to 0.25%. And then lastly, on Friday, we're going to hear out of the Bank of Japan, negative interest rates, not good. And lastly, the National Association of Realtors reports existing home sales for February. Economists are forecasting a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 6.1 million homes sold, 400,000 homes fewer than in January. So everybody, thank you for joining tonight. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for walking around Miami with me tonight. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. So Brian, thank you. Mike C, I appreciate you joining. My friend Abdullah, thank you. Fred X, the investigator. Michelle McGraw, out and about, thank you. The investigator Kathy Lyons, thank you. Rivas Latha, Cosmos Scary, Patrick New York, Judy D, Mike C, Gary, Solo 401, and everybody else. Appreciate it. If you want to sign up for the Behind the Street newsletter, it is the first link in the description. I will send that out to everybody after the market closes tomorrow. And to the mighty bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere. And you just need to know where to look. And I'll see everybody right back here tomorrow.